Hello everybody, how you doing? Henry here, back with another video. So in this video, I'm going to be interviewing or having a discussion with Halima Daniels, the CEO, founder of People Inspired. I mean, she's going to tell us about it. But just to hear about her story, entrepreneur success journey, so that we can be inspired. Because you guys know that on my channel, my passion is to inspire you to reach your personal and career goals. And one of the ways that we do it is by interviewing, people who've managed to establish successful businesses, managed to establish successful careers so that we can hear from them. So Halima, thank you for joining us.
Henry, it's an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for inviting me. And just the name People Inspired, I guess it's so apt with your objective also being to inspire people.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah.
I'm really, really honored and privileged to be here. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome, man. So you guys, I mean, if this is your first time, on this channel, you're very welcome to you. Hit the subscribe button and let's grow together. And if you're back again, thank you for your support. So Halima, I mean, tell us, what inspired you to start your own business? How long has your business been running and what is it about? Maybe, what is it about, first of all?
So, I mean, of course, the name is called People Inspired, and we're really passionate about leadership development and executive coaching. So we work with people who also have a passion for people and have a passion just to grow and empower other leaders. And what we offer at People Inspired is leadership development programs and executive coaching.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So some of your clients are like executives in the marketplace, in corporates, and things like that. And I was just looking at your your company profile, your profile. Obviously your personal profile also says a story, which our guys here would like to hear. Just about how do you start a business? How do you know whether you're ready to start a business? So tell us about your story. How did you get into leadership development?
I mean, as a child, I remember always having a passion for being a teacher.
Okay.
For being a teacher and being involved in education.
Yeah.
And I suppose as I grew up, I kind of learned that there is power in knowledge, there is power in education. However, I realized kind of keeping that power of knowledge to yourself doesn't help anybody. So being able to impart knowledge to others, being able to empower others with knowledge and education. So I found my passion in really being able to pass that education on, being able to pass the knowledge on, and then to go wider, to then develop others, in terms of leadership, that they in turn are able to empower others. So, that ripple effect of you teach and educate one, and so it passes on, and so it passes on.
Yeah.
And I think it's come from me just wanting that as a child, and I've grown up with that passion. So really loving it.
Oh wow, man! I mean, I can relate to that, right? I can relate to that. I mean, there's some things you just feel that I want to teach people, I want to do this.
Yeah.
But how did you find that path, though? Practically, because I mean, you didn't do an educational degree or anything like that.
Maybe I did.
Or maybe you did. I don't know much. I don't know much about this. But I'm just saying maybe it wasn't the traditional thing. Say, okay, being a teacher, for example, in primary or secondary school. So how did you find that path, in corporate, to then, find your passion?
Yeah. So I've had quite a long corporate career.
Yes.
About 18 years being in corporate before going out on my own. And most of my career was in HR and learning and development.
Okay.
And kind of worked my way up the ranks from being a junior administrator to being an HR executive, and part of that being like learning and development manager, but kind of always really having the passion of growing people, of seeing what people's potential is, and how I can help that potential help them grow. And I think in that way, realizing that I have a big role to play in growing people, in growing communities, in growing leaders that have the same passion, who serve and share the same passion as me. And in 2011, as we all sometimes get to that point of questioning what next, and kind of questioning, so what is my purpose now? I've had this long, successful corporate career, but do I want more in corporate? And would I be able to fulfill, I suppose, my purpose in corporate? And yeah, maybe I could have, but I decided then that I needed to go out on my own.
Okay, all right, yeah. So we're gonna get to that. So I was excited when I was reading your profile because you said that you had a long, career, with HR and people. And I saw that you're actually, part of the HR team in one of the big law firms, here in St. Because I studied law myself. And I mean, these are the places we look up to, to say that one day, this is the places to be. And I can imagine that, that those types of environments, people always think, law firms, they are, high, energy environments, there are a lot of, people. I mean, I mean, you get all these dramas about law firms, suits and all these things, and people just think, these are very, charged up people. Like lawyers are just given this reputation. They are quite serious. And also, how did you find that? Do you think quite ambitious, quite serious?
I think the reputation of the seriousness is right. They're very serious about what they do, and you do it and you do it right, or you don't bother doing it.
Yeah, man, it's always like a hectic place. Like candidate attorneys will be there for long hours. And so people almost dread to work as attorney. Not like in the big firms, they think this is going to be a lot of hours and it's going to be very busy. But it also the level of excellence is quite high as well.
I think that's where I did a lot of growing up as well. Because I agree with that level of excellence. It was a tough environment, but I appreciated it because when I left there, and I think if you can succeed in a law firm, then you can do it anywhere. And I enjoyed the toughness. And if you can prove that you are credible, and if you can prove that you know your stuff, then that's appreciated. Because I suppose clients expect the same of them. Clients are paying them some really high rates for them to be credible and for them to know their stuff. So in turn, they expect it from you to know your stuff, and they expect you to also to guide them, to show them, in those areas that they are not the deemed experts in. So, and if you can build a relationship with them and show them that you are credible, that you know what you're talking about just as well as they know what they're talking about, it's really long-lasting relationships.
So, in terms of your experiences, obviously you talk about your experiences in sort of in these environments, in your previous jobs, they demanded excellence. But which other experience equipped you to sort of run your business now? What you can look back and say, what, I learned this, and this is actually helping me now to run to run your business. You see it from 2011.
So it's 10 years.
Wow, man,
and
that's
it's definitely by the grace of God that I'm here.
Man, we're just 5 years in business, so I mean we know half of what you know. We know half of what you know.
But so my corporate career definitely has taught me a lot. I think especially since when I went into corporate, I was really junior, and just learning right from the bottom of literally taking instructions, listening, planning, organizing, taking correction, and because when you are on your own, especially in the beginning of your business, you have to do everything on your own.
Of course.
So if you're not planning properly, you're not using your time well, you're just going to be chasing your tail all the time. And I think just being able to prioritize, being able to plan, being able to listen, taking corrections, learning from my mistakes, all of those things have definitely helped me and continue to help me.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, because, was the reasons I asked about experience, because I think, from us, especially young people, even coming out of varsity, you would think that, okay, I'm done now. I need to go and start my own business. I'm not going to work for anybody. I'm not going to do anything like this. I know, I'm called to do business or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But, but now I now got an understanding that, it is valuable to, to work for someone else, to work for other people. It's important at the end of the day.
It is definitely valuable because it allows you to get structure, it allows you to get the discipline, unless of course you as an individual may be so internally disciplined. We talk about locus of control, and if you as an individual has that strong internal locus of control and you have the discipline, you are so well motivated that you may not need it, because not everybody goes through like a corporate career before going into their own business.
Yes, that's true.
So it depends on the path, it depends on the person. Some people may be ready at 20, and some people are not even ready at 50.
Wow.
So
oh, that's true. It's also like a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
But just to know, so for you, what conditions were there to know that, okay, this is now the time? For me, in 2011, I know you spoke about, that you felt that, this, am I going to fulfill my purpose? So you're driven about, about your purpose, especially with regards to, educating people.
Yeah.
But what other conditions were present for you to say, okay, this might be the right time?
When it comes to people resigning from a job or a company, there's always a push factor and there's a pull factor.
Yeah.
And when the pull factor may be more than the push factor, then one may resign.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the pull factor was greater than the push factor.
Yes.
So I wasn't an unhappy person where I was, but I think that question of meaningful work, am I doing something that is meaningful? Am I doing something that is making a difference? And to me, that was the pull factor. So mine wasn't so much a push factor.
Yes.
Then the environment was a good one, and I was getting paid a really fat salary.
Okay.
I mean, you talk about law firms, and
Santon.
yeah. So if there's one thing they do pay well. You are very well recognized for the value you bring. And I actually left quite a very good salary behind.
Wow.
And because that pull for me was a lot harder, and I, there was a decision to be made, and that decision was, do I go out into another organization? And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I thought, what, I've always wanted to go out into my own business, and maybe the time is now. And with that, I left. And did I look back after leaving in 2011? Did I say, wow, that looks really nice, maybe I must go back? Yeah, sometimes I did. Sometimes I did question that. I would see adverts like on LinkedIn and the Career Junction and Career 24, and when I was like kind of hustling away and thinking, oh gosh, the salary that I could be earning versus the hustle that I'm going through. So there were times that I was, is this worth it? Me kind of hustling when it would be a lot easier to go back into the corporates.
Definitely.
Yes, so there were times that I questioned, do I go back or do I continue the hustle? But I haven't went back into another corporate. And
Yeah.
so I have been in business for the 10 years since I left in 2011.
Wow, man. I mean, that's amazing. I definitely feel you there. That I mean, there's some times whereby you're like, man, is this worth it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
and these things, they take time. You know, they really take time. And you know, I remember when I started out. You know, you've got your everything. You know, you've got your
Yeah.
business plan. You've got this and this, and your income projections.
Oh, yeah.
But man, it's quite a while. Quite a different ride when you're actually in it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you know, I remember the times whereby you have to pay yourself half now and half later. You know,
And sometimes nothing.
and sometimes nothing. You know, because it's your business and you need to make it work.
Yeah.
But I guess you just need to make a decision that you're gonna stick it out.
Yeah,
You know, no
absolutely.
matter what it takes. And
Yeah.
some of the situations might be very difficult. You know, I mean, it's just sometimes you're gonna get tested.
Yeah,
To say, do you really want
absolutely.
this or not?
Yeah, your grit is really tested, and you know, that's where the resilience comes in. That's when perseverance comes in. You know, like, can you go through with this? You know, the long haul of experiencing the dark days, the dark
Yeah.
months, but you know, also knowing why you are in it.
Yeah.
So when I talk about that pull factor, reminding yourself when the days are dark that there's a reason for why you are here and you're not in a corporate somewhere.
No, that's true. Eh? And what things or what structures did you have in place? Like when you're taking that step of writing that resignation letter, maybe it's 1 month, 2 months notice, depending on where you are. What did you have in place? Like what did you know about your industry? How were you gonna get your clients? How were you going to service them? You probably had that experience in terms of actually service them. And how were they going to pay you? I mean, what were some of these structures you had in place?
So, so when I made the conscious decision to actually leave permanent employment and go out on my own, I didn't do it immediately.
Okay.
So I did have a 6-month plan in place.
Oh, wow.
And in that 6 months, I did as much thinking as I could. I did as much planning as I thought was needed at the time. I knew I had an idea of what I was going to do, of what I was going to offer clients. Had, like you said, all the paperwork, this plan and that plan and that plan, and I had many different documents for everything. The other thing I did was began the financial planning, reduce my debt.
Okay.
Making sure whatever accounts I had going kind of had to be paid up, because I knew it was going to be a while before I was going to be earning any money. So tried to pay up and reduce all of the debt so that on a monthly basis I would be able to live on less than I was used to.
Wow.
Remembering I used to get quite a nice package.
A Santon package. Yeah.
And being real about what the next 12 months would look like. Because also allowing myself to build up client base, to build up the point of receiving any type of income.
Yes.
That would take time, and I think I had to be real about that I wasn't just going to leave and walk into fat clients. And I think to anybody opening up a business, just to be real about what that lag time could be.
Yes.
Yes. And to make that plan to reduce your debt.
Wow.
To know the type of lifestyle that you could live for the next 12 months.
Yes.
And really to be conservative about that as well, because some people think, oh, I just need to be okay for 2 months and I'll be fine. And all that's in your head, right? The 2 months is nothing. It goes by so quickly.
Yeah, that's right. You're already on the middle of the month. it's already the 15th, and once the 15th, man, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and guys, I mean, this is why we like bringing ladies here, man. Because ladies, you know, they're meticulous in their planning. You know, they plan. You know, us guys just like, no, I'm resigning today
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tomorrow.
Had
Not
enough of
anything
this.
to your name, you know, and so that's why we like to, you know, to have the ladies here. Because I mean, and that's very important. And I like the practical, you know, the practical things that you've just said. You know, reducing your debt. You know, if you've got obligations with people, you know, make sure that you're sorting them out. Because I guess, you know, that extra stress can really, you know, make it a frustrating journey. You know, can just add to the frustration, and that's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, and I often speak to people and say that in 2021, for instance, you know, you've got an opportunity to test your ideas before you even resign from your job. So I mean, you can work, you know, part-time. I mean, as long as you're not moonlighting and you get fired for that. But you know, you can test your whatever, you know, business that you want to do, you know, on your side if you feel it's a passion for you. I mean, there's the internet before you make that decision of actually quitting your job.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a privilege that we have with technology these days.
Absolutely. You know, I would really advise people against waking up one day and thinking, sure, I've had enough of this and I think I'm going out into my own business.
I mean, you're in HR, or you've been in HR, so I think you'd know those situations, experience those situations. I mean, we do labor law, so we sometimes experience someone is like, but you know, they whatever, now they've accepted the resignation. Like, yeah, once they've accepted the resignation, you know, that's it. You know, there's no way to go back in. You know, it's an offer which has been accepted, and that's the end of the game, you know. So I think you've seen that a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, even a verbal resignation is acceptable these days, so...
Definitely. And you know, the company will bring witnesses and they'll prove it that you resigned, you know, which is quite crazy. But I like that, you know, just, you know, take your time and sort things out before you just jump into you know, your own business.
Yeah. And you know what? Plan, because when I left work and went into my own business, my thinking at the time was that I was going to consult in HR.
Okay, all right.
Because it was what I knew. It was what I was doing for the last couple of years. And I thought I did it well.
Yes.
And I thought it was going to earn me some money. But a year later, I found, sure, I don't think I'm loving this as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
And 18 months to 2 years into the business, I changed direction. And that's where I let go of the HR consulting. And that's when I went into leadership development and executive coaching. So I really found what I love and what my passion was through doing first what I thought I loved.
Yes.
And then realize, all this is doing is just eating me up from an admin perspective. It was really hard work, and I wasn't really passionate about it. And really only found my love and found my passion 18 months to 2 years into being on my own.
Wow, man, that's amazing.
So I think also allowing yourself to explore, to experience, to find out what's your love, what's your passion. And I've been doing my love and my passion since 2013 now.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I like that, you know, be flexible. You know, be flexible. Don't be stuck. If something is not working, you know, don't be afraid to change it. And I had to learn this myself, because sometimes, you know, the team will come and say, you know, let's change the website. And I'm like, this thing has been working, man. This is like, no, it can be better. You know, and sometimes you don't want to trick things. Oh, man, these ads you're doing, they're not longer working.
Yes.
You know, let's tweak it, let's do something else. And I like that you know, you're able to be flexible. And obviously, in your business, you have had a lot of opportunities to be flexible.
Yeah.
When things are no longer working.
Yeah. And I think especially now, COVID has really taught us You know, the word pivot, I'm sure, has been coming up around every corner. And it's so real that if you can't pivot, if you can't be agile, if you can't change what you're doing, then you're just going to be stuck in a rut, stuck in your old ways. And you know, business is about what your customers expect, what your clients and your customers want.
Yes.
And if you can find that for them and give them what they want, even if it means you need to change, and you need to change every month, every year, that's what you have to do.
That's what you do. Yeah, that's what you. And I like that. It's about what the clients want. Because sometimes people they make things for themselves.
Yeah.
Like whether it's clothes or whatever. It's like, oh, I think I would like this. No, no. It's not what you like. It's about what the clients like.
Yeah.
So with regards to the, you being in business, for those first 3 years when you eventually decided that you're gonna do, leadership development, executive coaching, like what are some of the main challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
I think the first thing was, it took me a long time to figure out exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Even though when I left, like my corporate career, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. But Henry, I promise you, it probably took me about 5 years to be able to be precise and to be able to articulate and to have clarity on what exactly was I offering. And I cannot tell you, well, maybe I can show you the number of company profiles, the versions from this version to that version to that version, and like everyone just kind of changing, what I was offering. So it took me some time to get that clarity on what exactly am I offering clients. And the way I found that clarity was I actually stopped looking at myself and what I wanted to offer, and I started looking at what is it people out there needed.
Wow, that's powerful.
What's the gap there, and do I have something to fill that gap? And then I executive coaching was what I looked into, because when you look at leadership and you look at executive coaching and you look at the leaders that we have, and I really saw that leaders needed that grooming, that empowering, and to empower leaders in a way that they themselves are then empowered to empower others.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about what you learn at university. So the work that we do at People Inspired is more about your self-awareness. Learning about yourself, learning about who you are, learning about your strengths, learning about the blind spots that you have, and kind of helping leaders with that, and a development journey, and that then they are able to pass that on. Because remember I said knowledge on its own, kept by yourself, it's not powerful at all until you are able to use what you have to empower others.
Oh, that's true.
And so I realized, that I needed to pass this on, and that articulation of and clarity took me a long time.
And I like that. I like what you said about, spending time, in the field, in the trenches, to get clarity. I mean, that's priceless. And unfortunately, clarity will not come in a day or two. Clarity is a result of experience. And I mean, that's something which is so powerful that, once you start this entrepreneurial journey, maybe you've been in this thing for 2 years, 3 years. I mean, keep going. You eventually find, I mean, that's what they call the sweet spot or whatever it is, whereby, man, you are the best in that area. I remember when we started our own business here, You know, it was obviously, I learned about the business where I was working.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, after 5 years, we're like, what? But how come we're never doing this where we used to work, you know?
Yeah.
How come, you know, our ex-boss didn't see this opportunity? You know, there are now other new things and avenues of income that we've actually discovered
Yeah.
during the journey,
Yeah.
you know, which we were not doing otherwise
Yeah.
where we were before. You know, and I think that's quite powerful, you know. It's
Yeah.
only, you know, with time
Yeah.
that you find clarity, you know.
And you know, also sometimes you need to do some things to find out whether that thing is right or wrong for you.
Yes, yes.
And you need to explore, you need to discover. It's very rare that you'll find somebody who immediately finds the one thing that they absolutely love and that they're passionate about. You know, you need to maybe do 10 things to find out the one thing that you love.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's amazing. And guys, man, if you're finding value out of this video, you know, hit that like button, man. Share this video with someone else, man. Let them know what's happening here, man. And so you spoke about, and if you also want, you know, Halima, for us to discuss, you know, specifics in terms of, you know, how to get self-awareness, you know, as a person and develop yourself, you know, let us know in the comments. You know, maybe we'll do another video where we get into, you know, specific, you know, topics. Because I saw your guys' website. I mean, it was, you know, it's quite awesome, and it also develops like the different levels of leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll put the link in the description below, and you know, you can check it out. You know, and I know you guys got LinkedIn. You know, you've got what other platforms do you have whereby we can put them in the link in the description, and you guys can check them out.
Well, we've got the website, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook, we've got Insta. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, cool stuff, man. So we'll definitely put those in the description. Yeah, yeah. So what other challenges did you also overcome?
So the one was the clarity of, you know, what I am offering, and the other one was definitely the sales, the marketing, and the sales part of it. And I think being in corporate for so long and like having my work ready for me every day, you know, going into my office, my very nice plush office there in Sandton, and like my work was waiting for me every day.
Yes.
I didn't have to go out and find my work.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have to be calling people or doing presentations and doing pitches. And then when I went out on my own, I froze.
Wow.
Because now I had to do all of those things. You know, be calling people and doing presentations and I absolutely froze.
Wow.
Because as far as I knew, I was credible. As far as I knew, my work should be talking for itself, right? Because I was doing some high quality work, some really excellent work.
Wow.
So I was expecting people to be like breaking down my doors, like, Halima, can you come and work? Can you do this for us? Can you do that for us? And it wasn't happening.
Wow.
And I believed that I wasn't good in sales, that I wasn't good in marketing. And I think the more I told myself that I wasn't that person, the more I believed it, and the more I kind of went into my corner, you know, of I'm not a marketing person, I'm not a salesperson, and I can't do this.
Yeah.
And I spent long time not marketing and, you know, going out and networking. I didn't even know how to network.
Wow.
I knew there was the word network, you know, networking, and it was such a buzz. And I didn't know what networking meant or how important it was until I was in my own business. Because when you're out in corporate, networking has a different meaning to when you're out in your own business.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, so I learned how to market, how to sell. But I also realized after some time that that's not my strength. You know, and I needed to start playing to what was my strength and to put my energies into the business I was called to do.
Yeah.
And the business I was called to do was leadership development and executive coaching.
Mm.
So what I've done to then overcome that is to bring people on board to assist me with the marketing, the social media, the sales, so that I can get on with what I was called to do.
And before you'd actually did that, before you could actually afford those people, how did you break out, of that shell and that corner you'd put yourself in and start believing in yourself that you could actually close deals and put yourself out there?
So, ironically, when I did get to be face to face with clients, they wanted to work with me.
Yeah.
And that made me realize that the only person who is seeing me as a non-marketing sales presentation person is myself.
Oh, wow.
Because when I had the opportunity to present or do a pitch, people were taking me up.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. So sometimes you can put yourself out of the game.
Just on your own, just by what you believe in.
Wow, man. That's amazing. That's amazing, man. I mean, that's inspiring right there. That's inspiring right there.
People inspired.
People inspired. No, that's amazing, man. I'm inspired, guys. I mean, you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah,
There's nothing
absolutely.
you can't do at the end of the day. And all right, so I mean, what advice would you give, to someone watching right now, who either, wants to start their own business or is in that first year or 2 or 3 of their business, 5 years? What advice would you give them in terms of, making it?
Yeah. So, I mean, there are definitely lots of opportunities out there. There are plenty of opportunities. But guys, I want to tell you that not every opportunity is for you.
Okay.
So seek guidance, seek wisdom on what is for you. Be a praying person.
Yes.
Pray for alignment, for your passion, for your purpose, and align yourself with the right people as well, because not everybody that may come across as somebody you want to do business with is the right person to be in business with.
Yeah. Wow.
So seek that wisdom, seek the guidance on, what's your passion, what's your love, what's your purpose, and guys, go for it. I mean, I know it's risky, I know it's challenging, I know it's difficult, but it's also very possible. So go for it.
Wow. No, definitely, guys. I mean, go for it, and that's only when you'll see the path. And pray. I love praying personally, and that's the way. And I know God will show you, like a lot of things, that you can actually do. And as you said, the right people to be in business with, because that's where I mean, it's either it works or doesn't work. It rises and falls on partnership and doing business with the right people or not.
Absolutely.
So Halima, thank you very much, for joining us, and maybe we'll do something else, for the guys here, just in terms of developing yourself, because developing ourselves. I think that's very critical, and thank God that's the space you find yourself in, that this is what we need, especially in challenging times, times which are uncertain and all these things, So thank you very much for coming through.
Henry, it's an absolute pleasure, and can I say thank you to you for inviting me and for giving me and people inspired this exposure. Really appreciate it.
Oh man, you're welcome, guys. So guys, thank you very much for your time, and man, subscribe to the channel. Let's do this, many other videos to come through your way, and we'll keep on growing. And let us know, man, if there's any topics that you want us to discuss. So love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.
Goodbye.